Module 5, Graphs and Equations of Lines. This is section 5.3, the rectangular coordinate system. Today we're going to look at how to plot points and how to generate points when you're given an equation. We have some vocabulary. An ordered pair is what we're going to use to plot our point. It's going to be two numbers inside of a set of parentheses. The first number is going to give you the horizontal movement, and the second will give you the vertical movement. Each number in there is called a coordinate. The first part of the ordered pair is the x-coordinate, and the second is the y-coordinate. To plot the x-coordinate, you will move along the horizontal axis. That's the x-axis. To plot the y-coordinate, you'll go vertical up and down on the y-axis. Where the two intersect is called the origin. It'll be right at the center. That has an ordered pair of 0, 0. Since I have two lines intersecting on the grid, I'll create 4 sections, and these are called quadrants. The A is the x part of the coordinate, and that's going to move it left or right. B is the y part of the coordinate, and that's going to be up or down. This is my x-axis. It's horizontal. My y-axis is going up or down. Where they intersect is the origin. I label the top right quadrant, quadrant 1, and then I work counterclockwise to label 2, 3, and 4. If I want to plot the point 5, 3, from the origin I go 5 units to the right since it's a positive 5, and then from that spot on the x-axis I go up 3 units. If I want to go to 2, 4, I would go 2 units to the right to 2 on the positive x-axis, and then down 4 to go to the negative 4 and make the point, and that would land inside quadrant 4. Not all points land in quadrants. You can also land on an axis. So if I have 0, 5, that says don't move left or right at all. Just only go up to 5 and make a point. And you would have 0, 5, and that would be on the y-axis. Each ordered pair can only go to one spot. You cannot plot a point 2 different times and then wind up in 2 different spots. So 4, 2 will always be 4 spots to the right and up 2 on the y-axis. Speaking of 4, 2, let's plot some points. We just looked at that on the other slide. I'm going to go from my origin, you always start at the origin, over 4, up 2. And I'll just go ahead and label that A. Negative 3, negative 2. Go to negative 3 on the x-axis. That's a negative 2 on the y. And that's point B. 2, 3. Go to 2 on the x-axis. And then down to the negative 3. That's C. 0, 4, don't go left or right at all, only go up to 4. That's D. 5, 0, now only go to the right, but don't go up or down. And that's E. A is in the first quadrant. B is in the third quadrant. 2, 3 is in the fourth quadrant. 0, 4 is on the y-axis. It's not in a quadrant. And 5, 0 is on the x-axis. It's also not in a quadrant. Another way to talk about ordered pairs is paired data. And if you have multiple sets of paired data, you can put it all in one plot, kind of like what we did before, and make a scatter diagram. Sometimes they give you the points to graph. Sometimes you have to generate them yourselves. An ordered pair represents a solution to an equation. Sometimes they give you the x-coordinate, and then you have to find the y-coordinate. Sometimes you're given the y-coordinate, and you have to find the x-coordinate. If they give you one, you can find the other just using substitution and solving for the rest of the equation. So if I want to find the rest of this pair when x equals 3, what's the y part of the coordinate? And I'm given the equation 2x plus 5y is equal to a negative 4. I can take my x out and let x equals 3, since 3 represents the x part of the coordinate pair. Instead of saying 2 times x, I say 2 times 3 plus 5y is equal to 4. 2 times 3 is 6, and now I just subtract 6 from both sides, and I have 5y is equal to a negative 10. Divide by 5, and you find that y is equal to a negative 2. And so that's the other part of your coordinate, and now you can plot your pair. If you have the y part of the coordinate and you want to find the x part, then you just let the y be whatever value they gave you in that coordinate. So here y is equal to a negative 7. I'm going to take the y out, and I'm going to put the negative 7 in. It's a good practice to always put what you're subbing in for in parentheses, so you don't accidentally lose a negative. You don't want to say 3x minus 7. It's 3x minus a negative 7, and a negative is a positive. Now subtract 7 from both sides, and I get 3x is equal to a negative 12. Divide both sides by the 3, and you see that x is equal to a negative 4, and that's the x part of the coordinate. Always make sure that you're putting your x's first and your y's second. It's very easy to plot them backwards when you're finding coordinates. You can also find multiple coordinates. So here I have y is equal to 5x. If x is equal to a negative 4, then the y part of the coordinate would be a negative 20. If y was equal to a 10, then instead of y equal to 5x, I would say 10 is equal to 5x, and can find that x is equal to a 2. If x is a 3, instead of saying 5 times x, I would say 5 times 3. And I would get a 15. I have 3 sets of ordered pairs, negative 4, negative 20, 2, 10, and 3, 15. I can graph these all on the plane. I have a negative 4, negative 20. We'll go by 2's here since I'm out of space. A 2, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And a 3, 15. That's 10, that's 12, that's 14, that's 16, so I'll have to go just in between. And there's my 3 points. And eventually, we'll be able to connect all these points and make a line.